Good morning, everyone. Jim Laird joining you live from Dirioma, Nicaragua. Let me get Instagram going here, and then we'll jump right into our topic. We won't waste any time. So there we go. We are live on Instagram. Jump right into our topic. And there's an amateur move there, not having the volume down. So hope you're doing well today. I had a wonderful weekend. It's beautiful here right now, but that's beside the point. Let's get right into this. I know a lot of you have a busy day ahead of you. Create your own custom wellness plan, a step-by-step guide. Now, the first thing we have to realize is that this wellness plan is ongoing. A lot of people get themselves in trouble, whether they're working too much or doing the wrong type of training for their goals, just life in general. And then they basically dig a hole, they get stuck, or they crash their car, and then they have to have somebody come and pull their car out of the ditch, get them back on the road. That doesn't mean you just carelessly continue to drive down the road. You're constantly having to reassess. So the first step to becoming getting your own custom wellness plan is assessment, self-assessment. And most people do not do a really good job of this, including myself. It's really hard to take a look at yourself and be totally honest of why you're in the place that you're in, particularly with certain personalities like my own that are very stubborn, hardworking. It's always nice to kind of get an outside source. Many of the times when I've gotten myself in trouble, it's because I crashed the car so hard that I was forced to take an honest look at myself. And this has happened to me over and over again. Over time, I've gotten a little better, but even now, recently I just had a little health hiccup, and it was because I was working in front of the screen too much. Even though I'm outside right now, I'm not in the direct sun. So I was spending too many calls, too much time on the computer, too much time on the phone. I wasn't making time for getting out, taking a little walk, getting sun. I neglected a few things, and I had a little hiccup. I was able to manage it and get it under control right away because I didn't let it spin out of control. I saw the warning signs. I saw what my ring was telling me, and I was like, okay, I need to make some changes. I'm getting sucked back into a lot of the things that got me in trouble in the first place, right? So, many times I'll have, many of the women that I trained over the years, they were, doing tons of HIIT, or they were doing marathons, and they thought that if they ran more or if they trained harder, they would get the result that they needed or wanted. And what they needed was somebody to look at them and go, hey, look, like you're trying to basically hammer a nail in with a screwdriver, and hammering a nail in with a screwdriver, it might work, but it's going to be a little bloody, right? And it's probably not efficient. What you need is a hammer, right? So a lot of times it takes an outside force to come in and help you through that. A great outside force is this ring, right? A lot of people kind of are not fans of it. I am, because it gives you data, and you can wear it in airplane mode, so it's not broadcasting off you all day. I can look at the respiratory rate, the HRV, and I can see what your nervous system is doing, what my body is doing. And a lot of times their feelings will lie to them, right? They won't, they'll override that. They'll push through, they'll drive through. And the ring will tell them, like, even yesterday, like I didn't do a lot yesterday, but I broke even throughout the day. I wasn't highly stressed, but I also wasn't highly rested. So a lot of times we end up in kind of this neutral no man's land, where we've got to learn the skill of actually being able to go into restorative time. And sometimes the ring is really the only thing that's going to be able to tell you that. And a lot of people have a really hard time admitting that they're under a lot of chronic stress unless they see it in their lab work or unless they see it in data, right? Because you can listen to somebody talk, and Lord knows I fall into this category sometimes when I let things get out of control. You start talking too fast, you start rolling along. I fall into this category often myself. And then I kind of have to shake myself and be like, okay, dude, you got to slow down. You got to make more time for yourself. And then, after you take this hard look at yourself, because, a lot of people, when they get into a bad place, will blame other people. They'll blame, their spouse, their job, whatever, their boss. And they don't look within themselves. True change comes from looking within yourself, because really you can't control others around you. You can only control yourself, but you can kind of, by the energy that you put out in your aura, you can kind of like shape what happens to you and around you, if that makes sense. Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you're having the same kind of things happen over and over again, you might have to do some deep work, self-reflection. And what happens is, a lot of times you'll get better, and say you'll roll along for 6-8 months, and then you'll have a problem, like kind of like you've had in the past, and you'll do some self-work, and then you'll roll along. Maybe you get along for 2 or 3 years, and then that problem remanifests itself, because you kind of get complacent. You're kind of like, well, I've dealt with this, I'm doing better. And then all of a sudden, a little bit by a little bit, you fall back into that habit again. A little bit by a little bit, that part of your personality, that part of your persona starts coming out, and it ends up causing you an issue. You say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing. It happens. So constant self-assessment, constantly being present in the moment. And that's why it's so hard to live in this modern world, because everything in this modern world is designed to make you live either in the past or in the future, and not in the present. So then it's a matter of looking at the overall system. Okay, we go through the 5 fundamentals. Are you getting outside? What's your circadian rhythm like? How's your sleep? Is that taken care of? Are you eating a protein? Are you getting the foods that you need? Are you nourishing yourself? What's your water like? Are you getting the water you need? Are you getting adequate fluids? Are you getting the lights off at night? How's your sleep? How's your sleep environment? How's your social life? Do you have a social life? Do you have social interaction? Do you feel needed? What's your exercise program like? Is your exercise program causing a problem? Is it emptying your bathtub, or are you allowing your bathtub to be filled up even more because of your exercise program? If your exercise program fills the bathtub up, are you doing the work to empty the bathtub, the working in, so to speak? These are all things we have to look at. And you might have all the things right, but maybe it's stress. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's the fact you can't relax, that you're just rolling all the time. That's where you have to take a hard look. And then sometimes it's a matter of just changing a few things. And a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm doing all the things right. And then you actually talk to them, start asking questions, and they know all of it, and they're not doing it. And so a lot of this is keeping things really simple and not giving people too much to deal with, and changing one habit at a time. Like, I recently got myself in trouble. Now, after this call, I'm literally going to go out and I'm going to spend 10 minutes in the sun, and I'm going to go walk. I'm going to breathe through my nose. I'm going to make sure I'm constantly getting out in the sun. And I'm going to make sure I concentrate my workload so that I'm not scattered, and I'm doing highly focused work for short periods of time, so that I'm not sitting here in front of the screen for hours. Sometimes it's like you start chopping trees down and you can't stop chopping trees. And then before you know it, 4 or 5 hours has gone by, and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't gotten up. I haven't taken a break. It happens to me. It happens to the best of us, right? And as a coach, you really have to, the most difficult advice to follow is your own. And a lot of times coaches, doctors, etc., they fall into a trap. They're helping others all day. They're helping everyone else. Mothers fall into this category as well. They're helping everyone else. They're listening to everyone else's problems, and then they forget to nurture themselves. So it happens to the best of us. So it's constantly this whole process of constantly looking at yourself. Okay, what can I do better? What's okay? This is okay. I'm willing to accept where this is for a while. Where do I need to improve? And how is this all going to manifest itself over time? That's pretty much the process. And then it's like triage, you know, if you say you're in a ship, right? And there's a hull breach and there's water coming in through the into the boat, right? Um, you're not going to worry about the fact that the ceiling tiles are falling out on level 3 and that there's a sewer backup. Somebody's toilet is backed up on level 6. You're going to take all hands on deck and you're going to head to that breach and you're going to plug it and make sure that the water doesn't sink the ship. And then once you've got that plug in, then you're going to start the work of getting that water that came in out, right? So a lot of this is having someone help you, and you can do this yourself. I've done this for myself, but a lot of times it's much more efficient if you have someone walk you through it. So you make sure you prioritize things. Then once you get that water out of the boat, then you can worry about, okay, I've got some maintenance issues in the ship I've got to take care of, right? Or I've got some customer, you don't worry about customer complaints about the service in the dining room when the ship is taking on water. So a lot of this is having the ability to look at the system and look what's happening and take care of the things that need to be taken care of first. And it's kind of maybe putting some other things on the back burner. And then a lot of times once you stop the water leak, a lot of those other things might all of a sudden take care of themselves. So it all depends. So we want to take care of the low hanging fruit first. We want to take care of the things we can control. We don't want to worry about the things that are going on around us. We don't want to worry about situations that are out of our control. We want to worry about what we can control, and you want to learn constantly from your situation and constantly be adapting, but keeping things simple and prioritizing the things that are the most obvious first before you go chasing fancy shiny objects, which sometimes fancy shiny objects are legitimate, but you want to check off all the basics first before you go down because what happens is you start chasing shiny objects, you go from shiny object to shiny object to shiny object, and you don't lay that foundation for your health. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe. Kind of help spread the message about how we can look at ourselves to improve our health. Go check out nikabarbell.com. That's my my little project to help with my outdoor gym I'm trying to build here in Nicaragua. And then also I use funds from that website. I sell t-shirts and hats and bags. I use funds from that to support some of the local charities here. I help sponsor a baseball team. I help with some families with food, with medical stuff. And sales from that t-shirt allow me to do that. So, buy a t-shirt, get a coffee mug. I appreciate your support. Check it out. There's a donate button there if you don't want to buy merchandise. I know a lot of people don't want to get merchandise, but be grateful for that. It's also below this video if you want to check it out there as well. So have yourself a great day. Get on the email list at stillmanwellness.com. This Thursday's webinar is going to be about my favorite core exercises. So you definitely want to get on it for that. It's going to be fun. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go roll around in the mud out here and show you a lot of my favorite core exercises or if I'm going to use videos. But either way, I'm going to answer all of your questions on this webinar on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So have yourself a great day. Make sure you get outside, and we will see you later.